It's a beautiful Saturday, and we are here back on your screens to give you nothing but the best in terms of sports. This is Off the Pitch, the show that comes your way every Saturday at 9:30 hours, and I'm your host Amos, aka Amore, and I'm not alone on set. I'm joined by one Augustine. Augustine, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Amos. It's always a pleasure to be here. We turn all the glory and honor to the Most High God. It's been an eventful week. We've had a lot of talking points. The Copper Queens playing out to a stalemate, and news that was making a lot of headlines on social media was the departure of Gwen Chipasola from Napsa Stars to a club which will be named in the coming days. I think you could see that what Gwen has brought to Zambian football, it's something which cannot go unnoticed. She's probably the best major personnel we have in the country who is leading a team, and congratulations to Gwen and Luca. They have been very, very good servant for Napsa Stars.
And I feel like it's high time these teams starts to understand and realize that with the powerful media team, you are able, because you could even see and feel the impact on how it went ablaze, and everyone was talking about it, and because it came as a shock.
Yeah, you could see from what Gwen has done at Napsa Stars during her time that she has been there, she has really changed the landscape of PR in Zambian football. You could see what the creativity that Gwen and Luca brought to Zambian football, to Napsa Stars, the graphics that were there, even just the way they were marketing and selling the club, it was unbelievable. You remember when last season when they were at the National Hero Stadium, they were going around to advertise for the games that were being played at home, and I think we must give credit to Gwen. She's fought very, very hard to get where she is right now, and what she has brought to Zambian football, even Africa at large, because she does double up at COSAFA at some point and CAF games. So you could see that this is someone who a lot of people are noticing the brilliant works. She does very, very good articles. She was doing for Napsa Stars. She's always open for the media to talk to the coaches, and a lot of clubs can learn a lot from what Gwen has been doing, and to try and employ people in those areas and support them, because they need support financially for them to achieve. And it's very good for Zambian football, and credit to Gwen and Luca for what they've done.
And imagine the pressure of Augustine that the ones that are going to take over at Napsa Stars, what the pressure that they are going to have. But like you've said, all the best for Gwen and Luca in their new journey, and hopefully Napsa will be able to replace them with the same mindsets that they've left. For now, we'll just take a very short break as we get back and look at how our Shikoro ladies fared in their opening game at the COSAFA.
Hey, join me, Amazing Katamanda, on the weekly gospel show for those exciting and interesting interviews with your favorite gospel
Hold on to me when it's too dark to see. You cannot put your power back to war.
Hallelujah.
And this time around, we are bringing to you entertainment news and the countdown, as you guys are able to nominate your top 3 favorite music videos of the week. Remember, it's every Saturday at 10:45. You can also catch repeats every Monday at 10 hours. Camnet TV is not just another time.
mulai tukiaini sheni abo muikere nabo
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
It's time! Camnet TV brings to you an exciting kids show called My Creation. Join me, Sarah Chandamagazagia, to interact with kids with special skills and talents between the age range of 9 to 17. This show will come to you every Saturday at 13:30 on Camnet TV, not just another channel.
My name is Christopher Adam. Continue watching Off the Pitch on Camnet TV.
Welcome back, and you are still watching Off the Pitch, the show that gives you nothing but the best in sports. And this episode is brought to you by Big Stakers, betting company that will highlight more within the show. But for now, Augustine, let's take a look at what happened with our Shipolopolo ladies who started their Kosafa defense with a draw.
Yeah, I think it was always going to be difficult for most of these young girls because if you recall, most of the times when international duty comes calling for the women's football, basically it's the international players, the foreign-based players that play a lot of games. But this time around, Bruce Mape has opted to take a very, very different route for the defending champions. We haven't brought in any foreign-based players. It's gone with all locals, and you could see that these young girls, they have got a lot to learn, and they're growing in this in the game. And we hope that this experience will give them a lot of confidence going forward. It was up against the Mozambique side, which was very, very hard to break down. They defended very well, and you could see in the final third, we didn't have that killer instincts to try and bury the chances that came our way. And you would hope going forward, probably Natasha Nanyangwe, she's one player who I look at and I see she's a big prospect when it comes to Zambian football. She's going to be one of the top players, not just in Zambia but in Africa. And at this tournament, it has given her a very, very good platform to try and be the girl that leads the line for the Copper Queens. And they a lot of experience in the team, like Susan Banda. She has a wealth of experience. At the back, we've got Lushomo Mwemba. And the impressive part is that the three goalkeepers, Letitia Lungu and Eunice Sakala, I think were part of the World Cup. And so it gives them this good advantage to try and build from the confidence they got from being at the World Cup. And Letitia played the two friendlies against Morocco. They go head-to-head now without Lushomo Mwemba. Sorry, without Hezonare, without Catherine Musonda. These two now are battling to try and see who starts ahead of the other. But it was very, very good to see the team keep a clean sheet. But on the other side, that's where we failed to try and get the goal, to try and start on a brighter note. Now we've got Angola coming and Comoros. We need to get a result for us to progress. Because what I've seen in this tournament, South Africa were beaten on the opening day by 4-3 against the Malawi side, who was very, very good, played on the front foot, and you could see that this African team is there for the taking. Zambia, if they can put their house in order, if they can get the goals, probably will retain this title.
It's always pressure, Augustine, going into a tournament like Kosafa, knowing that you are the defending champions and you go with players that are playing, maybe having it for the first time, playing international or representing the country. But this is one thing that we've been crying for. Let's look at it going forward in terms of competition. How is it going to bring competition in terms of these other Chipolopolo players that are playing their plights outside the country?
Yeah, it will basically bring a lot of healthy competition because you create your own strength and depth in the team by giving a lot of players game time. And this is what Bruce Mape is doing, but it's up to these ladies to put their hands up and say, I want to try and challenge for the Copa Queens proper when qualifiers come around, because we'll be playing Togo very, very soon for that Africa Cup qualifier and Olympics. So you could see that there are a lot of games that are coming, and this has given us a very, very good platform to try and prepare the next generation probably that will take over from the Copa Queens. These current Copa Queens, we will not have them for the next 5 years. So now we have to bring in these young girls that will grow into confidence, the likes of Pauline Zulu. We've got Natasha Nanyangwe there, Maweta Chilenga. She's not part of this team, but she's one who will be in and around this squad going forward.
Anyway, and we won't shy away, Augustine. The next game will be played tomorrow, that's Sunday, against Angola, and hopefully our Chipolopolo ladies will be able to produce and give us a positive result in tomorrow's game. But let's not forget that our young Chipolopolo, that's the under 20, will be playing. That's today at the Ngoloma Stadium as they host the Congo. That's in the under 20 FIFA Women's World Cup second round. This is the first leg, and we've seen preparations of that going on within this course of the week. And there's a strong team that has been assembled, and hopefully we'll get a positive result. But going into this game, Augustine, how positive are you knowing that we've got certain players that maybe were supposed to represent, that were supposed to play in the under 20, but they are maybe with a senior team? But looking at the team that was assembled, are we going to pass through DR Congo in both legs?
I think it's a 50-50 kind of a situation, looking at how we've prepared and assembled this team. The last time this team were together, if I'm not mistaken, was in December when they were at the COSAFA tournament. So you could see there has been a very, very big gap in terms of camping these girls. They haven't been together for a very, very long time, and now they are thrown into the deep end. The coach Charles Haluon, 35 girls this which was called into camp. It was trimmed to 18. Now we've got the best 18 that will go on and try and beat Congo. But there are a lot of very, very good youngsters. They play very good football. I think one to look out for is Luvasi Pumulo. She's very, very good. Green Buffaloes attacking midfielder. She's going to bring that experience of playing at the COSAFA with GBFC to this tournament when we really need her to try and carry the team going forward. It's a lot of pressure for these young girls. They are playing in front of the home fans, and Zambian fans are very, very demanding, and I would love to urge each and everyone out there to please trek to Ngoloma Stadium and support the girls. Tickets are starting as low as 20 kwacha. Let's go and support the women's team. And I was very, very happy with the coach. The way he came, he was very, very positive in his press briefing. He talked about if the senior team can achieve it, what more as I think they are drawing confidence and inspiration from the Copa Queens who went all the way up to the World Cup, and we are coming up against a Congo team. That's when the league is starting in Congo when it comes to women's football. We have got one of our own in there, Agnes Fabiola, who is playing a trade at TP Mazembe. So you could see that this is a league that is growing steadily, but I think we've got enough at this stage to beat this Congo team.
Your prediction?
2-0 Zambia, then we go to Congo next week and get a 1-1 draw.
And all the best to the Chipolopolo ladies as they take on their Congo. The game is today at Ngoloma Stadium, and like Augustine said, let's trek there and be able to support the young Copa Queens as they take on their Congo. And Augustine, not to mention, we've got two friendly games that have been lined up for October. We've got one which will be played on the 12th and the other one which will be played on the 17th. And looking at the call-ups that have been done, and it's something that I would give a shocking who is maybe the names that were expected or not expected, Augustine, to be here. But all in all, let's look at these two friendly games, Augustine, that we are going to have before we take a look at the list of players that we are going to play Egypt and Uganda.
Yeah, very, very tight friendlies. It's very good preparation for us, looking at the time that we have from now up to January when the Africa Cup of Nations kickstarts. This is the only window that we have to playing international friendlies before the boys come into camp for those final preparation with regards to the Africa Cup of Nations. It's going to be a good starting point for us to play a team from North Africa and a team from East Africa to try and prepare, because on the 15th of this month there will be draws for the group stages of the Africa Cup of Nations, and we will know now who we are going to face. So now I think this is a very good preparation for us. Mohamed Salah is assured is coming to play against Zambia when we play them in Dubai, and we beat teams like Ivory Coast on our way to this continental showpiece. Now we need to try and play teams like Egypt, because we've always struggled when it comes to facing North African oppositions, and this gives us an opportunity for us to try and gauge where are we in terms of being a team that will go to the Africa Cup of Nations and compete. You remember the last time we went to Morocco, we played Morocco, we got beat 4 goals to 1. So there are a lot of lessons that these boys will need to learn going into this Africa Cup of Nations. Uganda, we've got Milutin Solidojevic. He knows the way we play. It's going to be very, very difficult for our boys. He's going to try and make it very, very difficult for us, because you know Mitch is a very, very defensive-minded coach. He loves to play on the counter, and we are going to face a lot of oppositions at the Africa Cup of Nations who are set up in a similar fashion. A lot of teams from West Africa. They are not ball possession teams. They are teams that will rely on set plays. They rely to hit you on a counter. So it will give us good preparation playing a Uganda side, which will give us a similar approach when it comes to teams that will sit back, hit you on a counter. And when we're playing the North Africans, they are very, very quick in transition. We need to be very, very alert, because we've conceded a lot of goals in the past in terms of transition of play. I think these are very good friendlies, and I hope the boys go there and give it their all in readiness for the qualifier.
Anyway, looking at the names that we have, or the players that we have summoned, we've got in the goalkeeping department, we've got Francis Mwansa, that's from Green Buffaloes, Charles Kalumba, Red Arrows, Victor Chavu, that's in Changa Rangers, and in the anyway, maybe let's just take a look at here. We saw how we've been seeing the performance of Charles Kalumba Augustine at Red Arrows doing some excellent works. But how is the selection so far?
I think when it comes to goalkeepers, look at Charles Kalumba. Probably is the only performing goalkeeper in that list. He has kept about 4 clean sheets this season. He's only conceded 2 goals. Victor Chawu, I saw him struggle against Atletico Lusaka when Changa Rangers came at the Toyota Arena, and it's a question mark. Why do we keep picking someone who is playing the National League? His performance against Atletico left much to be desired. When you look at Francis Mwansa, he hasn't kicked a ball for Green Buffaloes. He's sitting on the bench, and you wonder why do they keep calling him, because of the heroics at the COSAFA Cup. But I do believe if Tostan Sabata and Rollins Mulenga fit, probably they will be the ones that will challenge Charles Kalumba for that position.
In the defenders department, Augustine, you have one Benedict Shepeshi, Red Arrows, Zephania Piri, Prison Leopards, we've got Stopila Sunzu, Jian something in China, and we've got Gift Mpande, Luka Banda, Dominic Chanda, Roderick Kawe, John Chishimba. Those are players that we are summoned that's in the defenders department. Because any surprising names for you?
I think the biggest surprise will be Zephania Piri, if I have to be honest. But he's, if you follow a lot of the local league, you would see he's a very, very consistent footballer, Zephania Piri, and he's grown to be a household name in terms of Zambian football. He's very, very decent on set plays. He has got a good delivery when it comes to crosses. I think he will offer competition to Benedict Chepeshi. And looking at Gift Mpande, he moved from Atletico Lusaka to Israel. He's one of the future Chipolopolo defenders, if you have to be honest. Gift Mpande is very, very comfortable in possession. He is very, very good when it comes to aerial balls. very good on the ground as well. I think he's one to look out for Gift Mpande, and one of Agorapson's favorite boy, John Chishimba. I think he's now finding a lot of consistency now at Zesco United. You could see he's progressing as a young left back, and it's good to see him that he's breaking into the Chipolopolo proper and he's challenging Rodrigo. Probably the biggest question is, why is Aime Mabika not being selected?
That's the question.
After the trouble they went through to try and get his nationality sorted out, they stopped picking him.
Would you say they are keeping him for the bigger?
If they cannot trust him in friendlies, it's going to be very, very tough to see him appear at the Africa Cup of Nations.
Are there things that maybe there are things that we don't know that are happening behind the curtains, Augustine? Because, like, for real, I think we fought so hard, even as fans. We went hard on the Ministry of Sports just for them to acquire the services of Aime Mabika, but we haven't seen him since that good news came up. And we've seen that there is no Musonda here on this. And the jailing of players would have been done now.
So probably Avram Grant doesn't fancy him. That's the only question. That's the only reasoning behind. Probably the coach doesn't fancy him because the time when he took over, he hasn't called him. He opted to go and call Stopiran, who's a veteran, to come into our defense. He doesn't fancy Aime Mabika.
Who are you seeing partnering, Augustine? Make your back four from the names that are here.
I think probably Benedict Jepeshi, who will start on the right. He started in the previous game and provided the assist to Patson Daka. Rodrigo on the other side, he will start again in this probably, because we've got two friendlies. We need to try and divide players. We cannot play the same team in both friendlies. We need to try and find different link. And at the heart of defense, Stopiransus, but it's there for the taking who partners Stopiransus, because Dominic Shanda has had the mixed start at Power Dynamos. You look at Gift Mpande, he's moved to a new club in Israel. He's playing, it's a second tier, it's not the top league in Israel. So do you fancy a player who is playing in a lower tier in Israel to partner Stopiransus? But if you look at this boy as your future asset, probably these big games are the best to try and test him.
Let's look at the midfielders department. Okay, we've got one Kelvin Kapumbu, Kelvin Kampamba, Gordon Mafuenta, Kings Kangwa, Cletus Chama, Emmanuel Banda, Rari Waria, Lubambo Msonda, Edward Sirofia, Fashion Sakala. These are the midfielders that we've summoned, Augustine.
We have got players that have hit top form at the right moment in that midfield department. One is Kelvin Kapumbu, Zesco United. He's very, very good. Kelvin Kambamba Mwanga. He's hit top form because he's the leading scorer in the league with 5 goals. I think Kelvin Kambamba Mwanga, he's been very, very instrumental for Zesco United, and he's helped them to get where they are right now, being log leaders. Another one is Edward Chilufya. He's moved from Denmark back to Sweden, where he's found good form. He scored a brace just a couple of weeks ago, and you could see that he's gaining back that confidence going into this Africa Cup, because we need every player to be performing going into the Africa Cup of Nations. And another player who I would love to see is Cletus Chamachota in these friendlies. He hasn't played in the qualifiers. He's barely had a kick under Avram Grant. He was introduced as a super sub when we went to Lesotho, but he struggled for game time. But this is a good opportunity for Avram Grant to see what Cletus is made of. Give him a chance. Start him from the get-go and see what he gives us.
And coming to the strikers department, we've got one Francisco Mwepu, Evans Kangwa, Patson Daka, and Moyela Libamba.
Francisco Mwepu, probably the only Zambian who has scored a hat-trick this season across the globe. So he's coming in with very, very good form. Luambo Moyela, question marks. If I was Avram Grant, I'm picking Andrew Piri of FC Muza. Luambo Moyela, yes, he did very well last season, but he hasn't hit the ground running this time around. Andrew Piri has been doing very good for FC Muza. He scored about 3 goals in the CAF Confederations Cup, and he managed to score 3 goals in the Super League. Probably he should be the name who should be on the team list. I think he's done very well for FC Muza. He's a very, very complete striker. If we are going to lose Patson Daga in the tournament, he's the closest in terms of his link-up play, his movement, and his sniffers instincts in the box.
These are the only 2 friendlies, Augustine, that we have, not until the tournament kickstarts. And we are looking at there are certain names that we are doubting. I've looked at the way you've doubted that Moyela Rivamba. But do you feel like the coach has got enough time to assess other players in terms of having other options?
From now until January, there is a lot of football to be played and a lot of players to impress. I think one player who comes straight to mind is Miguel Chaiwa. He made his UEFA Champions League debut when he came in as a sub when Young Boys played Red Star Belgrade. Unfortunately, we didn't get the opportunity of seeing Clint Kangwa to have 2 Zambians on the pitch in the UEFA Champions League. He was on the bench, but Miguel Chaiwa came in as a super sub for Young Boys and played in the 2-2 draw. So he's one player who I feel going forward as we go to the World Cup, to the F Cup, he's one player who will be knocking on Avram Grant's door. Miguel Chaiwa is a very, very good midfielder. He will bring something different from what we have in terms of Benson Sagala and Kelvin Kapumbu.
Anyway, this is a list of players that have been summoned just for the 2 friendly games that we have. That will be played on the 12th and 17th of October. That's against Egypt and Uganda. For now, we'll just take a very short break as we come back and take a look at some of the talking points in the CAF representatives that we have. That's FC Muza and Power Dynamos.
I'm Given Singuruma. Continue watching Off the Pitch on Camnet TV every Saturday.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
A crucial game that we had here in Zambia, where we saw the CAF Champions League, that's Power Dynamos against Simba. And it was a dramatic game. It was a dramatic end, in short, because we saw both legs ending in a draw. But it's shocking that Cletus Chotachama managed to break our hearts last year in Zambia, where he managed to score a brace. But Power Dynamos went to face Simba, that's in Tanzania, and the game ended in a draw against both teams, Augustine.
Yeah, I think when Power Dynamos lost the opportunity to beat Simba here at the Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, we drew 2-2 with playing with 10 men when Dominic Chanda was shown a red card. So you are going to Simba needing to try and get a result, probably score first and sit on the lead. And Power Dynamos went to Tanzania. The game was moved from the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium to Azam Sports Complex, where now the fan base reduces. The capacity is a bit smaller than the Benjamin Mkapa. And Power Dynamos, I think, started very well in Tanzania, getting on the score sheet through Andy Bobo Boeri. And you would think Power Dynamos, with how they played that season, going to the final game of the season before they faced Red Arrows, they had conceded 14 goals. So this is a team which is very, very tight when it comes to that defense. And they are going into this game without their number one goalkeeper, Rollins Mulinga, who was out injured. So it was now Willard Mwanza to come in and produce for the team. It was unfortunate that Power Dynamos conceded in the 71st minute through an own goal from Gondwani Chiwoni. I think it was very, very heartbreaking for the Power Dynamos faithful and Zambia at large. Simba are one of the most overrated teams in Africa. They are very much overrated. I've never seen something good about Simba, which people hype a lot, and you could see now these are moments where they get exposed. If Power Dynamos were very clinical here in Zambia, they could have eliminated Simba. Even when they went to Tanzania, Power Dynamos probably, after they scored the goal, they started sitting back and inviting pressure. If Power Dynamos went for the key win in Tanzania, they could have done that, because you could see that they were just separated by goal difference, Simba and Power Dynamos. This tells you that Simba are not what we think they are. I think Yanga are a much better team. Looking at what they achieved last season in continental football, they went all the way up to the final, where they lost in the final with Kelvin Nikedom Musonda, Kennedy Musonda leading the line for Yanga. This Simba team, I think, is all set up under around Cletus Chamachota. If Cletus does not perform, it's very, very difficult for Simba to play well.
A result, Augustine, that a lot of fans never expected. Like you've said, Simba is one of those teams that is overrated. And but let's look. Would you say? I think I'll take you back a bit, Augustine. This is where we started the show on, in terms of the hyperness that's there on how to always have a PR who is going to bring up that hypeness. Because whether we like it or not, they've got one of the biggest fan base here in Africa. But coming to such a result, and we saw Power Dynamos conceding, that's an own goal by Gondwani Chiboni, that was in the 71st minute, Augustine. But was this the result that a lot of us as far as here in Zambia expected?
Remember, at the start of the season, Power Dynamos were invited to go to Tanzania.
And you said,
they went to play friendly. They lost by 2-0, and you would think when Continental comes, it will be disaster for Power Dynamos. But I think credit must be given to Mwinesh Pepo and his team. They studied how Simba plays, and they came here and took them punch for punch. But towards the very end, when they started playing with 10 men, it became very, very difficult. What Simba does is that they are one of the biggest teams in terms of financial, the revenue that they have. I think they're firepower, they're big financial. They've got financially they do not struggle. CS Simba, and you could see in terms of their fans, they've got one of the biggest fan base in Africa. But when it comes to the actual football that they play, I think they leave much to be desired. The furthest they have gone in the last, is it 10 years or so in continental football, was probably quarter-final berth, and they got beat by a very, very struggling Orlando Pirates we saw at Orlando Stadium a couple of seasons ago when Rani Wali was there. I think other than that, I do not remember when Simba did very well in continental football, but they're always hyped and making people think that they're a very, very huge team in Africa. Yes, they are huge in Tanzania, but they're not a huge team when it comes to African football.
We saw our very own,
to be honest, Simba will struggle in the group stage.
That's Augustine. Mark the date. And Augustine, we saw our very own, that's FC Moza being eliminated. That's in the CAF Confederation Cup. That's against Diabos Noirs, and it aggregate ended in a 4-1.
FC Moza, I think we mentioned it here when they lost 2-1 at the National Hero Stadium. I didn't see any way Moza was going to bounce back, going to Congo Brazzaville. I think it started here in Zambia. They had a lot of chances which they couldn't bury, a lot of inexperience when it comes to the Muza team, and they got beat 2-1. They were down by 2-0. Then Andrew Pierce scored a penalty late on in the game to give them a little bit of hope going into Congo Brazzaville. And before they traveled to Congo Brazzaville, they were boosted with news that they have recalled Conrad Luchanga from Red Arrows, and he beefed up the team and was part of the team which traveled to Congo. And 9 minutes into the game in Congo, Kasanda was shown a red card. FC Muza captain, and you would see now it was probably the end for Muza at that stage. They were going to play with 10 men away from home at an artificial turf. It's very, very, very difficult for the young FC Muza team, and they got beat eventually by 2-0, aggregate 4-1. I think looking at the general overview of Zambian football, this surely exposes our league, because FC Muza have been one of the most unstoppable teams in the league, but they failed to beat an average Diabos Noah's team. I think to me that brings a lot of question marks in how our football is at this point. There was one caller from Eastern Province last season we called when he said Power Dynamos will need to strengthen going into continental football, and they have been eliminated at the same stage. This is probably the similar stage we saw Red Arrows and Zesco United last season get eliminated. So when it comes to Zambian football, we've dropped from 15th to 21 in terms of ranking on the African stage. I think our league has really, really gone down. We might think that we are competitive here, but when you go to Africa, we get exposed because we have got a lot of work to do, a lot of backroom staff work that needs to be done for us to reach the levels of competing at the high level.
Let's just pick this quick call before we invite our sponsors that are big stakers to join us on set. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, this is Esaya calling.
Esaya Njovu.
Esaya Njovu, the mighty elephant.
You can go ahead with the contribution.
Yes.
You can go
ahead. How are you guys?
We are good. How are you? You are happy Zesco is number 1.
Wishing you connected all the best against the Buffaloes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Esaya, for coming through.
Okay.
Esaya Njovu.
That's
the
mighty elephant. The one and only who fights.
Zesco United and Manchester United fan. At least Zesco is comforting him because Manchester United on the other
side
is
bad.
Very poor.
And I saw him posting a very happy birthday to Uncle. You posted Uncle Ray. Happy birthday to Uncle Ray and big up. But right about now, we'll just take a very short break, a quick one, as we get as we joined by Mr. Raymond Piri, that's from the State Papers.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Television, not just another channel.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days in forgotten stories. We emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Like I told you, Off the Pitch will be brought to you courtesy of Big Stakers. Sorry, welcome back. I want to present Becomes Too Much, but Big Stakers are the ones that are going to be sponsoring Off the Pitch, and we have been joined on set by Mr. Ray Piri, who is going to talk more because he's a country manager for Stake Pickers here in Zambia. Mr. Ray, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So you've got a task to break through on what Big Stakers are and giving us the benefits that are there.
Okay. Well, Big Stakers is here now to change the way we do betting in the country. You know, a lot of people have treated betting at Nivabututu. But you see, what people don't understand, I'm a certified investment advisor myself. So I studied the stock markets, stock broking, even all these cryptocurrencies that have come up. I've studied them. Now the thing is, when you are on the stock exchange, whichever stock exchange it is, we have what we call future markets. And sports betting is similar to future markets. Even gambling itself as a whole. Those are future markets. You're betting on a future market. You're saying the price of crude oil is going to be $100 a barrel by next week because Russia has done something. You get it? And now in football we are saying, because Man City is in good form, and because De Bruyne is on a streak, we are going to find that Man City is likely to win the next match by maybe 3-0 or 3-1. So we are betting on future markets. We are investing on future markets. So Zambians, we are here to correct that notion. Let's treat it as an exchange, as a market. It's a stockbroking market. It's on its own, sports betting. So now how do we do it? We stake big and we reduce the risk by reducing the amount of games. Look at, there are 50 games. The likelihood of winning is very low. But if you put 10, 5, 20 games, that's what Big Stakers is here to do. That's why on Big Stakers we're saying, if you join today, we're giving you a 200% bonus once you just join. You do your deposit on your first deposit. So when you're joining, it's very important to, like today, Saturday, you've got these big matches. Instead of all of them at once. No. Get your 200, get your 300, deposit it, then we give you 600 kwacha.